Boom.
Boom, there it is.
Hey.
Thumbs down Frank has already been here. What in the world?
Maybe he likes Atlantis.
But you know what? Let's not focus on thumbs down Frank. Let's focus on the 8 people who have already hit the like button.
Before we were even here.
And talk to the other 19 people who haven't hit the like button.
That was some quick math.
Well, look at me. I'm a nerd.
Well.
So, welcome to Dylan Talks Tone Q&A. You saw the thumbnail. There are some guitar pickups that people seem to just not like no matter what. And we're going to get to that. And what I want to do is talk about why and how we can fix them, how they can be made better. Sometimes it's adjusting your guitar a little bit. Sometimes it's changing the pickups. Sometimes it's changing pots. So it's doing various different things. Maybe modding the circuit a little bit. So we're going to talk about that in a little while. If there's a pickup that you just can't get on with, if something, humbucker and I don't mean brand, I mean like humbucker P90, single coil, Telecaster neck, Telecaster bridge, Strat, whatever. If there's something that you just can't get on with ever, it's driving you nuts, and you're trying to figure out how, we'll talk about that. We can get into that because we have a question from Patreon that actually inspired that. And then we're doing a new thing for those of you that are, really awesome and stay around for the whole time. We are going to go till 9 o'clock, which is an hour, about guitar stuff. But we have gotten many requests even after last week's live stream.
Van Shank Guitars has been here 23 months.
Jeez, that's almost 2 years.
Is really cool.
Thanks,
just want
man.
to call that out. Thanks, Ivan.
What we're talking about is he hit the little join button down there below the thing, and
23 months ago.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So we're gonna have a little, if you want to hang out and talk about some off-topic things, it was your idea, so hopefully a few of you do want to. You saw the thumbnail. Is Atlantis real? We did not discuss this ahead of time. We did our own research, and we will chat about this and maybe any other crazy topic that you bring up. And I hope by the end of this, you maybe bring up some sort of off-topic craziness that we'll talk about next week after 9 o'clock and see how that goes. Just a way to hang out and be friends. Talk guitar stuff for a while, but then just hang out. And the people that are annoyed because the thumbnail doesn't get talked about right away, they can leave, and the rest of us can hang out. That's kind of what I was thinking.
There's some people that say they're here just for the Atlantis information.
Well, you're going to have to wait until 9:02.
And then Mihail Malev must be talking. It says, LOL, Dylan is finally answering the big questions. So I don't know if that's your topic or if this the after hours topic.
After hours with Dylan, and that sounds...
No.
No. Anyway, so let's get into this thing, man. Let's talk about let's go ahead and go over these Patreon questions. Because one of the things that's going to have to happen, if you have a question, we are going to stop it at 9 o'clock. So you can either get in right now with a question with a bunch of question marks in front of it, or you can use a super chat. We will drop what we're doing for those. So, or you could join Patreon and ask them ahead of time, like these people just did.
These people. All right, cool.
Let's do it.
I just read that. Let's celebrate Ivan again. 23 months of membership because I hit the wrong button. All right, moving on. Vincent, Dylan, what are the pros and cons of using 2 true single coils side by side as a humbucker as opposed to a traditional humbucker with 2 coils sharing the same bar magnet at the bottom? Really looking forward to trying the Hot 5 Super 8 set. Thanks.
So that's a great question, and I know where that came from because he sent me a message on Patreon and asked me about this specifically because he showed me a pickup I believe it's made by Dean Zelinsky, that is basically just two Strat pickups right next to each other, but they're a little offset and on an angle. So there's going to be two. First of all, short answer, in principle, if you run north coil here, south coil here, and they're wound correctly, start to finish, finish to start, wired like a humbucker, it will just work like a humbucker. Because a humbucker is just two single coils, opposite polarity, wired finish to finish. No big deal in series. The differences will be, obviously, the dimension of the coils is going to change it, so it's not going to sound like a Gibson-style humbucker because the coil size will be different. Anytime you change the size of the coil, it makes a massive, massive difference in the sound. And that's probably the number one biggest factor when you change the tone of a pickup is two things: changing the shape or strength of the magnetic field, which is kind of the same thing but not, or changing the shape and size of the coil. So it will sound like a humbucker, but it will not sound like a Gibson humbucker. The other thing is it will have pole piece magnets, like a Strat, instead of that bar magnet underneath. So it magnetizes the coil differently. So it'll sound different, but in principle, it will be the same. Yeah, cool question. Super chat.
How do you call it before the horn goes off?
Because I saw the bright green. I don't know who it is, though.
Super chat from Thomas Torville. Thank you for the super chat. He says, "Hi, Dylan and Leslie. Love the show. Thanks for all the help and pickups you make. Great work."
Awesome. And Thomas, we have a cool project together, me and Thomas. Because he has the white 40th anniversary Jazzmaster. Mm-hmm. And most of the parts, not all of them, but most of the parts came in to do the crazy stereo wiring.
I forgot.
That we did on Mike's guitar before.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for a couple other things. Supply has been weird because of hurricane. That really affected us more than I thought it was going to. And I'm still sort of in this weird spot. So, but I'm on it. And I've got most of everything. I think we'll be able to get the guitar pretty much figured out here pretty quick. But then there's another little box that needs to happen and a whole bunch of stuff. So anyway, I'm on it and it's awesome. Cool. Thank you, Thomas, for the super chat, by the way.
Anthony, referring to the metal base plate on a Tele bridge pickup, can you find this type of base plate on other pickups used besides the bridge area? Would there be any benefits in doing this to any base pickups? Thanks, Dylan and Leslie.
So this is the other thing. We talked about coil shape with this last question. Now we're going to talk about the magnetic field shape. I didn't even think about these working together. These questions come in like this, but the magnetic field shape changes when you put metal on the bottom. What that does is that changes the amount of inductance that happens in the pickup, and it also changes where in the coil the inductance happens. Kind of, more or less, short answer. So, I'm actually working on a pickup right now that will have a base plate that is not a Tele pickup, and that's all I'm going to say about it right now. There are some that do it, and there are some old school pickups like, there's all kinds of old weird single coils and old weird, like all the Japanese stuff like Taiscos and all the Italian stuff. Some of those goofy, they look like humbuckers, but they're not. They're just a wide single coil. They got a weird steel base plate with, I can think of like some old Harmonies and stuff that have weird pickups in them that have steel base plates, but they're actually a single coil, but it's not a Tele. So to do the same thing, to get more inductance out of a small pickup. Some of those pickups were like that because they were a weird shape and they couldn't physically be big enough in the guitar, so that they put a bunch of steel underneath it. As far as putting it on a bass, I've never seen that, but I'm not saying it couldn't happen.
Rob, why do you hide such a dapper hairdo under those dapper hats?
So, because I like wearing hats. And the reason I am not wearing a hat is because, honestly, because Jimmy and I had a couple of beers and chatted about hair.
Yes,
And he was like, "You need to stop wearing a hat as much because your hair is cool."
So Ken Stouffer said, spicy new haircut. Never seen you sans hat.
Yep.
Fat Philosopher said, Dylan forgot his hat today.
Nope. I didn't forget it. It was very on purpose because I would have went and put it on. But you can thank Jim for me.
Fat Philosopher said, nice to see he has a nice thick set of hair.
There was a lot of people for quite a while who actually thought I was bald.
Yeah.
Which is really funny because obviously that's not happening. Oh, we got a super chat in there somewhere, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you said that.
I thought I saw it flash up there, but
Okay. Maybe.
There it is.
All right. Sorry about that. John on 11 can't play any Roddy. Thank you for the super chat. He says, how is business? Our electrical contracting business is taking a bath this year. Is that a saying?
Yeah, it means it's bad.
Contracts bid before steel and copper price increases, completing with big losses.
Yeah, wow. I can see that happening. We have been very affected by the prices of parts. And we've really been affected by shipping costs too. Coming in and going out. And so I have been doing my best to not raise prices, but that may not last forever. I'm kind of watching a few things to see how it's going to pan out. I don't have any price increases at the end. I don't have them. They're not planned, but I have to watch it all the time because it's really getting a little crazy. A Telecaster switch, for example, is twice what it was 2 years ago. You know what I mean? So when we do these control plate things, capacitors cost more money now. Jacks cost more money. So all the stuff, the pickup stuff has stayed pretty stable. I will say we're really busy. And so one of the things that has stabilized it is we are busy enough that I've been buying in higher quantities. So that has helped to mitigate the raise in freight and the raise in all these other prices. Because we're busier, I'm just kind of passing on the savings of the bulk buying is basically what I'm doing. So, but that is, it's tough, man. It's tough. And I feel for you if you're having trouble with that. It's hard. It's happening for sure.
Rob, same Rob?
Nope, different Rob.
Different Rob. Rob, Dylan, thank you for the Good Laugh Tuesday as you tiptoed around the plecking of my first guitar. And no, I was not offended. My question, why don't people like Strat bridge pickups? I've recently discovered mine and am happy with the sounds I can get from it.
So, this is the question that inspired the thumbnail for tonight.
Glad you put it last.
I don't usually rearrange these because I don't usually look at them ahead of time beyond just copying and pasting them in there. But I did this time. I was like, let me put that in the end because that was actually inspired this. So this is why I want to get in the comments and see, is there a pickup that you don't like? So let's talk about Strat pickups first. The biggest thing that I think that people don't like about Strat pickups is two things. One, usually, until recently, some of the later editions of Stratocasters are changing to it now, where the bottom tone knob is controllable, where it never used to be. And so it was always very cutting, um, real trebly and kind of thin. And if the pickup's not designed properly, it can still be that way. Here's why. The Stratocaster obviously was an evolution of a Telly. The Telly was an evolution of a lap steel when we're talking about pickups. So the angle of the bridge pickup and everything came from a lap steel. Then it went into a Telly, and then it went into, actually it didn't come from the lap steel. The lap steel was straight. Then it came into the Telly. Then it came into the Strat. And if you measure the old stuff, the dimensions, like from the high E saddle to where the pickup lines up, is all the same from a Strat to a Telly and all that. Now that has changed over time with designs of tremolos and whatever. Also in the old days, and actually in the new days too, a lot of times they don't wind the pickups differently for each of the spaces. So your neck, your middle, your bridge are all wound the same. The frequency response obviously is different from neck to middle to bridge because of the placement of the pickup getting way more trebly as you get closer. There are also a couple of different spacings depending on stuff. Well, actually, that's with humbuckers. As you go closer to the bridge, it's going to get more trebly, and so people don't like that harshness. They just don't like it. So you have to wind around that. You have to design around that. So like if you take, for example, our Bonneville pickups that just came out, those things are, they're not piercing and ridiculous and tin canny on the top, but that's because that's how they're wound. They're just the way they're wound, and the wind count and the magnets that we use and all of that stuff combined together. So earlier when we were talking about height and coil dimension and stuff, the width and the length is the same, but the height can be adjusted a lot. We can play with height. And so that's a thing, as well as the strength of the magnets, as well as the wind count, to fix that problem that a lot of people have. So if you buy a set of our Bonneville pickups, it won't be cutting and ridiculous like that on top. And you may already like it like that and not want to change it. So that's cool too. Yeah, that's awesome. Can we go in the comments and see what other people are saying they don't like?
I don't know that we've gotten
Many of those.
a lot of specific things for Leo Ahern. I don't know. I still can't say that word. Do you make?
Cunife pickups?
Yes.
No, I don't. The materials, we don't have the materials available.
Talking about suppliers, Thomas Torville said, "I'm not in any hurry. Everyone's having problems getting things out of Florida shipping."
That's what it is. My main supplier is in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from what I heard the other day is that they have about 2 more weeks before they can free up some stuff. So it's putting a hurting on a couple of things we do. What I tried to do was email as many people as possible who had orders in at the time of the hurricane and let them know that they were affected by it. So hopefully we've mitigated a lot of it. I ordered parts from a bunch of other suppliers that I don't normally use, and it just got the stuff here so we could get as much stuff out as possible. But there's a couple of orders that I don't have an alternative for. So we're working through it. It'll be okay.
Okay, so
thank you for your patience, though.
Rob F said that makes sense. The best sounds I get from my bridge pickup are when I turn the treble down, way down.
So there's 2 things you can do there. Get these pickups, first of all. They're awesome. But the other thing you can do is you can add a jumper wire from when you go and you look in your Strat where the tone knob hooks up to the switch. I believe it'll be the second terminal from the back closest to the pickups. You can take a jumper and run one wire from the second to the third on that same side. And that will make your tone knob work for the bridge pickup.
Machu, what was your question
I don't remember.
about pickups? What was your
Which
question?
ones that you don't like? How can we
Don't
fix
like.
it? Yeah.
I don't know if that's so. Somebody said Strat middle. David or Ira Tiger Bomb said Strat middle. David Corblatt said lace sensor gold blows.
I don't like them.
Fat Philosopher says a single in the neck sounds better than a humbucker in the neck, or at least I feel so.
So, okay, well, let's handle a couple of these as we go because we know how to solve them. One, middle pickup is wind. If you don't like the middle pickup, well, there's two things you could do. Try playing with the height. And middle pickup on a Strat's tough because to get it to sound right in the notch positions, you got to have it at a certain height. But then if you want it to sound good like by itself, you got to get it to sound a certain height. If you can't get that combination right, sometimes it's a pickup thing. One of the things that came up, and I don't mean to keep harping on these Bonnevilles, but I'm not the only one. The people in the comments on the demo on that video, everybody was like, dang, that middle pickup sounds good. So once you get the wind right, you can. As far as humbuckers are concerned, oh, do we have a super chat?
We have two. Are you going to stop talking?
Yep, I'm ready.
Super chat from Vinny's World. Thank you for the super chat. Gotta head into some meetings and we'll watch the archive later. But speaking of Atlantis, Aquaman or Namor? I don't know how you say that.
I don't either.
Aquaman or Namor? Let Vinny know what you think.
I'm not a big comic book person, so.
Don't know what that is.
Except for Batman, obviously.
And another super chat from Rusty Fenders. Still like that name. Thank you for the super chat. Hi, Leslie and Dylan. Did my first full parts caster. Thankful for all your setup videos. Have you seen the new Fender Vintage series? Most have 7 1/4.
Yeah, so that was in the news yesterday. In our news yesterday that came out this week, and yeah, most of them are gonna be 7 1/4 because they're trying to make them as vintage correct as possible to whatever era they came in. I don't think they're gonna have nitrocellulose finishes and all that, but I think overall spec wise they're gonna be pretty vintagey. Which, yeah, 7 1/4 is gonna be cool for that.
All right, you want to hear more pickup stuff?
Let's do it.
Gearhead says, I only use the middle for the top 2 and bottom 2. I never had a good sounding middle on its own.
You can have one. These things are good.
Brad Rutabaga. That's a cool name too. I don't like Duncan JBs. Brian Felt. I don't like noiseless pickups.
So, Duncan JBs, if you don't like a Duncan JB, try our center punch. That's the number one pickup. When somebody says, I'm putting new pickups in my guitar, this is what I'm replacing, they usually go with our center punch. It's amazing. And to circle back to Fat Philosopher's question about neck, or observation about neck pickups kind of sucking and he only likes single coils instead of humbuckers, usually it's a clarity issue. Usually it's because they can get a little muddy and woofy sounding. Same thing with Telecaster neck pickups. That's going to be wind. And so if you want more clarity out of your neck pickup, our DAF is the jam for that. Getting more clarity for sure.
Ken Stover says the best sound I get from my bridge pickup is when somebody else plays it.
Isn't that the truth? I think for all of us.
That's so funny.
I don't know anybody. I don't care how good you are. If you hand it to another guitar player, like one of your friends, the guitar always sounds better when they're playing it. It's always true.
Paul Need says, I like nearly everything about the Strat except the sounds of the pickups. But I love P90s. I don't see the sense in a humbucker in the bridge position if you want that Strat tone.
Yeah, I get it.
I have a JB Jazz and my Jackson could never get the volumes to match anywhere close. I don't know why Duncan chose that as a set.
People say that all the time to us. If you have this problem, center punch in the neck, 8-ball in the bridge, problem solved. JB and the Jazz, #1 combination replacement that when people are like, I just ordered your pickups and I'm putting them in A, it's a guitar with a JB and a Jazz 99% of the time.
Doc Stiltonen said, I haven't found a ceramic magnet pickup that I like.
Sounds like a challenge.
I'm not sure if that was his intent.
I know. It sounds like a challenge. We got a couple of ceramic pickups that sound really good. Doc, I'm drinking your Macallan 12 from Colorado. I still have a little bit left in that bottle.
Not at the rate he poured tonight. He won't have a lot left very, very soon.
No, I accidentally. It was a little heavy on the pour tonight.
No, it's not work. We're going to put his computer on Do Not Disturb. Let's see. Fuse404 says, I wish more people would mess with Firebird style pickups. I have an Epi semi-hollow with them, and I want to try them in everything now. Those and P90s.
Yeah. I don't like making Fender Firebird pickups. That's why we don't make them. We make good P90s, though.
All right. I have 26 questions stacked up, so what do you
Let's
want
go.
to do? All right. Mark, and some of them are statements, I guess, but related to other things you were talking about. Mark, in the mix. It seems to me that being overly wound too much being too hot to me makes a pickup suck.
Yeah. It changes the mid-range and it kills the high end for sure.
And I missed this one. New Gun Guy says, some single coils are noisier than others. I dislike those.
That's how they're wound too. And the materials. Yep.
Doc, it says, awesome. He's having Ardbeg 10.
Oh, yeah.
Rob F says, I'm going to order the SSS Bonneville pickguard tomorrow morning. Payday.
Excellent. Oh, yeah, you said you were making noise about that last week. Awesome. I think he was going to do it last week, but he got some pedals instead. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Hey, man, I get it.
David Kornblatt, what did you think of Duncan Twang Banger?
They're fine. It's when people ask me about specific pickup tones, there isn't very many that I don't like. I mean, there are some pickups I don't like. I don't like Thornbuckers at all. But most pickups are just it's 32 flavors, right? It's either you like chocolate or vanilla or strawberry or I don't know who likes Neapolitan. That doesn't make sense.
I love Neapolitan.
Neapolitan is the Thornbucker of ice cream to me. There's no reason why those flavors need to go together, and then it just kind of all sucks.
Disagree.
I know, and some people like Thornbuckers too. A lot of people do.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a Sir pickup, and it's really dark, and it just gets lost in the mix really bad. Yeah.
Okay. Answered that. What?
While you're pausing.
I wasn't pausing. I was trying to get to the next question.
Having a knife in my hand made me think. Tomorrow is going to be, I believe, another live unboxing on Instagram. If you do not follow us on Instagram, it's just Dylan Talks Tone on Instagram. I recommend that you do it. Because one of the things that I've decided I don't like doing on this YouTube channel is unboxing videos. So, anytime I get a new piece of gear, I'm unboxing it live on Instagram. That way, if there's a problem, or that way it keeps the product really honest. Like a lot of people will accuse me of like getting special guitars from Sweetwater that don't have any problems. Obviously, the last couple videos have shown that that's wrong. But in order to keep it honest, number one, so you all know what's up. And number two, just because it's fun, and because I want to bring Instagram into the game a little bit more, Dylan Talks Tone on Instagram. Any gear that we get, pedals, guitars, maybe other stuff. I don't know. We're going to do a live unboxing. So when FedEx gets here tomorrow, I'm going to have a pretty awesome
Cool. It's interesting you were talking about like doing that to be authentic, but I would think like all of your videos aren't produced. We obviously do a live stream.
Right.
You added another live stream, so like what you see is what you get, really. But I guess people.
There's always people in the comments that are like, especially when, even though we buy most of our gear, we don't get very much free stuff, right?
Right.
And so.
Right. We don't.
We don't. And so, even though we don't, people still think that we're some sort of paid shill, that is just going to say good things about whatever, no matter what, because we're getting paid to, or because we make affiliate dollars off of the guitars. Because that's a real thing. Even if I bought the gear, I'm still going to give you the link. I hope you use the link because I make some.
But you can buy whatever you want.
But you can buy whatever you want. If you use that link, just so everybody knows this, those affiliate links, you don't have to buy that stuff. Mm-hmm. It still helps out the channel if you go to Sweetwater and buy a set of strings instead of a $5,000 guitar. I might give you a link to a $5,000 guitar that you will never buy, because you just don't want it. But you need a set of strings and a new Snark tuner. Use that link, buy that stuff. It still helps us out. The Amazon ones, if it's some goofy guitar or piece of something you don't want, use the link anyway and buy toilet paper or whatever else you need, and it still helps us out. And we're not talking about millionaires here, but like I said, because we do buy all this gear ourselves, that's how it kind of keeps it all honest. And so I just want to make sure that we are really upfront with people about that, because I don't want to be that guy. We're just talking to a photographer this evening, and he was like, you got to be real careful with camera reviews because those guys are getting paid. And I'm like, yeah, it's really hard. I want to make sure that we stay chill about all that. And that's why I tell you too, be super honest about it. Anyway, next thing.
IBJI. Have you ever seen a Brian May style loaded pickguard for a Strat? What's the secret to getting that tone?
Well, first of all, you have to build it out of a dining room table. Dining room table tone wood is harder to come by than you think. Those.
Laugh at your own joke.
It's so dumb. Those pickups are very difficult to make because they're kind of air coils the way they're made, and the pickups are super unique. They are not Strat pickups. They are very, very unique, and I can't even get a hold of any to do like a let's cut them apart and see what's inside kind of video. That's one that's just kind of unobtainium for me. I've always wanted to, but never could. They are very special. I don't like how they sound, but they are very special.
Shark Air. Let's get a closer look at that Challenger.
Oh, yeah. So this Challenger, I did that on purpose. So this Challenger is one of the Challenger X's.
It's levitating.
From this is on pre-sale right now. In fact, this particular guitar, as far as I know, is still available to buy. So if you go to TexasToastGuitars.com and send Matt an email, tell him you want the one that I have, you can tell him that. And this guitar is available. And if I drop it, then you won't want it. So we got to be careful. So, Pelham Blue, DAF humbuckers, volume tone, 3-way switch, super cool guitar. I was just playing it today because the pickups that came in it were like just for pictures. They weren't really the ones that we're going to use. So I actually just put these pickups in this guitar today and was playing it for the first time, and it is really, really nice. It actually has Challenger X engraved on the back of the peg head. This is number 4, MK1 Mod 1. This is the... Anyway, this is actually... It says number 4, but I'm fairly certain this is basically like the prototype of the whole range. I think number 4 is the neck because they were doing some design changes on the neck. But anyway, what are these tuners? Why can't I?
Hip shot?
Yeah, hip shot. Idiot. Hip shot tuners.
I just hear that in Matt's voice in
I
my
know.
head.
Hip shot bridge and trem because it says a tremolo on it. I'm not going to quote pricing because I don't know because it's not my thing. All I'm doing is demoing the pickups and putting them.
I do like that indention thing.
Right? The way they do that is really nice. No, it's really cool. And the finish is super cool. And yeah, comes with a gig bag and no, it's really cool. It's a really cool guitar. Thanks for asking because I was going to mention it.
All right, we got a super chat from Ira Tiger Bomb. Thank you for the super chat. Nothing was tied to this one, but I did see this come through right after, so I'm assuming this is the question to go with the super chat. I have a made in Mexico single hum Strat, and I want a complete pick guard. 2 DAFs or 2 D90s. Is there any use putting anything in that pesky middle? That's a lot of magnet.
Oh, absolutely. So you could do 2 DAFs for sure. And then what I would do when you order these kind of things, I wind the middle pickup to match the set so that it works. Because sometimes people say, well, I want 2 Super 8s, or I want 2 DAFs, or I want 2 center punches. Well, those humbuckers are all different. So we may not actually make one of our stock Strat set pickups that goes in there. But because I make every pickup to order, we can make whatever you want. So if you tell me, give me the pickup that works, I'll just make it as a set when we do it. That's awesome. That's a cool setup.
One more. Rebel Rouser, thank you for the super chat. Hey Dylan, what's cooler? Not better or more valuable or more fun, just cooler. A vintage guitar or a vintage motorcycle?
Motorcycle all day long. And I'll tell you which one. A Mike Halewood Ducati. Or a Norton Commando. That's where I'm going. If I couldn't have either one of those, I would have a BMW R65/5. But that is just to run around when it's raining, because BMWs can have bugs on them and they can be all gross and dirty and it's still cool. But a Mike Halewood Ducati has to stay clean and cool, and a Norton has a polished gas tank. So you got to have the R65/5 for the crappy days. Yeah, way more than a guitar.
All weather ride.
Oh yeah. I'll ride in the rain. I'll ride in snow. Don't matter. As long as there isn't ice on the road, I will ride. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, it was a great question.
Chuck C. I have a Squier Baritone Jazzmaster. I don't see Jazzmaster pickups on your site. Do you have a recommendation for something better than the designed by Duncan?
Dude, I have Jazzmaster pickups. I don't know why you can't see them.
You were supposed to check this a while back.
Maybe something's weird here. I don't know.
All right, we're going to check on that, Chuck C. Aaron Short Music wants to know, how are you guys?
I'm good. What's going on, Aaron? If you don't know who Aaron Short Music is, please check out his channel. He's not actually short. He's actually really tall, and he has a cool accent, and he has a way different take on guitar gear than I do. Him and I actually don't agree on much, and that's what I really enjoy about talking to him, because he has a really neat perspective on the instruments and how he reviews them and how he looks at them, and it's really cool. So please check out his channel. He's super cool dude. We met. We didn't meet at the NAMM show, but we met like at a Guitar Center after the NAMM show, I think, and really enjoyed chatting with him. He's a super cool guy. Yeah. What's going on there?
You want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
Gary English says, "Hey guys, love your show. I'm looking for some information. I'd like to build a hardtail Strat, MGW templates, P90 in the neck, and perhaps humbucker in the bridge. What are your thoughts?" And he sent a subsequent question to ask, sorry, sent the chat too soon. Is this a pick guard setup you might do?
Yeah, we could do that. That's one where you go to the website, which I have right here.
Ooh,
and the little
Vanna.
This is almost like a whiteboard. I don't know where Windsurf Maui is, but we're sort of doing a whiteboard thing. On the website, hit the contact us little thing right here. And send me a thing and be like, hey, I want to order a custom thing, and I'll send you a custom invoice, and we will do that. It might cost a couple of bucks. The money might move around on the invoice. Like, add a couple of bucks, over what you see in the normal thing. Because of the P90 thing makes it a little more expensive to make the pick guard and stuff, just FYI. But yeah, we can do it. Okay, so here's how you find the Jazzmaster stuff. You are correct. There is no actual direct drop-down button for it. However...
Yeah, Slacker Deluxe said, I haven't seen Jazzmaster pickups on your site in forever.
Okay, so here's how you do it. You go to the home page, which I have right here. And you scroll down. We could do this in here too, but... And you just click on Dylan Pickups. Right there. And that gives you every pickup we make.
Oh, because there's no category. That's why they can't find them.
That's why. There's no category for Jazzmaster stuff. There is Jay-Z Classic Singles right here. They're $99.95 a piece. And there you go. So you just go to the home page, scroll down to my face making a pickup that says Dylan Pickups. And all the pickups we make are right there. There's 2 pages. And Jay-Z Classic Singles are right there. Sorry about that, but I'm glad we connected on this, so now you know.
Now you know. Another super chat from Rebel Rouser. Thank you for the super chat. He said, you almost had it. Triumph Bonneville, FTW.
So, I'll tell you something. I'm really considering a Triumph Bonneville right now to actually purchase. That is like on my short list, except that Norton just announced. And the Norton ad, the Norton ad with the motorcycle guy going like this, you know what I'm talking about? I have that tattooed on my calf. If I could get that Norton Commando 961, I would be a happy, happy person. But the Bonneville is on my list because A, it's a Triumph, B, it's a cafe racer, and C, it says Bonneville, and I love Bonneville stuff.
All right. You're talking a lot. I have 35 things now.
I'm going.
And we only have like 17 minutes.
Great. Let's go.
Brad Rutabaga, I don't even ride, and I'd pick the vintage bike. Jay Michaels, I met a Dylan doppelganger in Malta. That's pretty cool.
I've never been to Malta.
Angel Raven 444, how about a KZ 1000?
I've ridden those and they're gnarly.
Aaron, already read that one. Ken Stouffer, I want to get into the motorsport days. Can't wait to find out who we both know and hear the stories. So that's an idea for future digression. David Kornblatt, do you think PRS has gone out of his way to upset a specific type of guitar player?
No, I think he has gone out of his way to make a lot of money to really target a certain kind of guitar player. And I think he's a guy, the perfect PRS guy is a guy who likes guitars. I would pick a motorcycle to put in my living room. I have done this because it was art. I've had a real motorcycle in my living room because it was art. He is selling guitars to people who will play, but I bet the majority of them love it because of the art. They love the guitar. For no other reason, they just love it.
John Own 11 can't play any Roddy. Would still love to see a video of Dylan explaining what he is listening for when hearing new pickups.
I should do that.
He would love to see it.
Maybe I'll do it Monday.
Talk about 50s SSS pickups. And why would someone like or dislike?
50s? Because they're real low output. The problem is they're real inconsistent too. At least, yeah, Strat stuff. They're kind of all over the place, but they're really low output usually, like 5.4K, Alnico 5, small magnets, usually rusted out and half of them don't work. You know, that kind of thing.
Top load telly. I just scored a killer 2000 purple made in Mexico Strat. I'm a decent tech, but really struggling to get the trim properly floated where it'll stay in tune. Any suggestions?
Yes, go to my YouTube channel, the homepage on my YouTube channel, and Google, or on the search bar in my YouTube channel, how to float a Strat tremolo. There will be a couple of videos. You'll be able to do it in 10 minutes. It's not super hard.
Paul,
Once you understand how it works. It's a great video.
Paul needs. I like a Strat neck, 9-inch-ish one. I like the feel of the shape, but the sound is something I just cannot get on with. 3 P90s might be a different matter. Shrug emoji.
We've done a lot of 3P90 pick guards because people want to try that. That's a real thing. We've done a bunch of those.
Ison said, Dylan, I got a 40th anniversary Squire Strat, and you were right. The neck is great, and the pickups aren't bad. Not great, but doable. Thanks, big bro. I'm really happy with it. Great job.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a cool guitar. I really like that one.
David Kornblatt, would you rather have a vintage Triumph or vintage Norton or BSA? I think we already answered that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Norton, for sure.
Angel Raven 444. As of watching Dylan's last video, I'm not saving up for a 40th anniversary Squire, but from his disparaging remarks, I'm saving up for Dylan's loaded pickguard.
So, yeah, if the only reason I would buy that guitar is if you really wanted an aluminum pickguard, because that's the only way to get it, or the color scheme of that guitar, because it's really good. Any of those Squire Tellys is going to need a new neck pickup. Bar none. They're all going to need a new neck pickup. So just know that going into it. But they're probably not all bad. I might have just got a bad one. Maybe. Which I think I said in the video.
Fuse 404. I love guitars, but the vintage Ducati tone beats any vintage guitar.
Oh, especially at Idle with the dry clutch clacking. Yeah.
John Nelson. Dylan, I drank a pint of moonshine, fell down, and broke the knobs and pots off my Telly style Cozart 12 string. What should I replace them with? Too many to make a better 12 string sound? I don't know what he's...
I don't know. I would think you would want
a pint of moonshine is a lot.
That's a lot of moonshine. We live in moonshine country. We know what a pint of moonshine is. That hurts thinking about.
Yeah, if that's all you broke.
You did good, yeah.
I don't know why you were carrying a guitar, though.
Yeah, because he thought he could.
Probably.
He probably was carrying something heavy, too, like a pickup truck.
Martian Murray, I want to swap out my Strat noiseless pickups. Can you talk about your Hot Classic 5 versus 90S sized 90s?
They're completely different. It depends. Do you want a thing to sound like a Strat, or do you want it to sound like a pissed off single guitar? The S90 is going to get you closer to the pissed off S style guitar. If you want a really good Strat, the Classic 5s are it. If you want to really hit an amp hard, if you play a higher wattage amp and you still want it to hit the amp really hard, get the Hot 5s. If you want something in the middle that's just really super clean, works awesome, and then it still pushes the amp if you want, but it doesn't have any high-end harshness, these Bonnevilles that just came out a couple weeks ago are the bomb. They're kind of in the middle. Of everything that I would recommend to you, it would be those Bonnevilles because they're right in the middle. They just work so good. They're really good.
Timothy Potter says some of the subtitles are hilarious. Thorn buggers.
Oh, because they're probably seeing
Live captions.
They're probably seeing the live
So
captions.
Machu is the one who asked earlier about why people would like those 50s single. And he's asking, do you have any
like that?
That style. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our classic 5s would be that for sure. Yep.
Cool. New gun guy. Crazy question. I know physics probably won't allow this because of the magnets, but is it possible to make a humbucker with one side being a Strat pickup and the other side a P90?
Not really. The pickup would end up being like this wide. And it would be one of those pickups that wouldn't be that great in anything. It reminds me of that Blade, what's that stupid thing called? That Blade pickup, that Seymour Duncan, whatever it is, it looks like a P90 with a Firebird blade sitting next to it. It's cool because somebody wanted to try it and thought it would be cool, but everybody that thought it would be cool that owns it is like, it's okay. And the people that still think it's cool haven't tried it yet. It's kind of one of those things. I think that's what would happen.
Robert R. says, at the Dylan Gear page, I can't find the ring you are wearing for purchase. What gives?
The ring? That's because you got to marry her to get it. And I already did that.
Mihail Malev, is it possible to make pickups that can change or toggle their shape of the coil while still in the guitar?
Wow, that would be crazy. So the closest thing to that would be Fishman Fluence. Because Fishman Fluence coils are printed on circuit boards and they can manipulate how many or how tall the stack is. All we can do is manipulate how the physical size of the coil and how many winds are on that coil and the size of the wire and stuff. But they can actually manipulate how much of the coil from top to bottom is turned on or in to out. They can do it a couple of different dimensions that we can't do with a regular pickup. So the Fishman Fluence would be the closest thing I could think of. That's a really cool question.
Chuck C said he just bought the Jazzmaster pickups, by the way.
Oh, excellent.
Got a super chat from Doug Santaniello.
Hey, Doug.
Thank you for the super chat, Doug. Good evening, Dylan and Leslie. I need traditional telly setup, but no holes drilled in the pick guard.
I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Just Doug, just order the drop-in kit, the normal thing, and send me a note and tell me what color pick guard you want. I can work that up.
Okay, so I think a lot of people are confused. So we're going till 9 o'clock regular scheduled programming, and then we will digress after 9 o'clock and talk about the other subjects.
After 9 o'clock, it's going to be totally off topic. You're not allowed to talk about guitar stuff.
Yeah.
It's actually, we used to have a thing where we do this once a month, and it would be called No Guitars Allowed. So basically, 9 o'clock, no guitars allowed. That's what we're doing.
Cool. And we are still way behind, so I still might not get to your question either. So I apologize.
Well, I'm glad this is so busy. This is fun.
All right. Bob Ertz, is the 8-ball higher output?
It's the same output as the center punch, so it's like 9.7.
Why would they buy it then? What's different?
Different magnet.
Okay.
Ceramic magnet. Yeah.
Wait. So you have a ceramic magnet pickup and Doc doesn't like it? Has he tried it?
He hasn't bought it yet. I think that's the one of the only pickups he hasn't bought.
Maybe he doesn't know. All right. Paul Williams, do you make bass pickups, Stingray humbuckers?
Not yet.
I don't know what that
That's
laugh
a
was
Music
for.
Man one.
Oh. Rusty Fender said, never had a middle pickup until 10 days ago. Only used the 2-position. Everything else sounds rubbery. I got used to the humbucker, I guess. there add rubbery to not tone words the game. I don't know if he's like using like
I don't know either.
speech to text or what. I'm sorry about that, Rusty Fenders. Gearhead, why does a wax potted pickup sound different than a non-wax potted? I've been told this a lot. The feedback stuff aside. Myth?
We have a video about a month or less old about this where we do a side-by-side. You go watch that video and tell me what you think.
All right. Do you like a high, David Kornblatt, do you like a high revving 327 or a low revving high output 350?
Neither.
Alrighty.
I would rather have a Pontiac motor.
Mihail Malev. Dylan, do you have any videos on more modern style pickups, especially humbuckers and hotter pickups with ceramic magnets like bare knuckle, for example?
Yeah, we just did a video on our Super 8s, which are pretty hot. We've done our and then our 8 balls, which are really hot. Those are the two that I can think of off the top of my head. Trying to lightning round it.
Yeah, but we just we stirred
the pot.
Yeah. Doc Siltonen, thank you for the super chat. He says 53 millimeter ceramic humbucker.
I could do that.
I
could
so
do
funny. That means he heard all of your trash talk.
Mm-hmm.
He's been here the whole time.
I could do that.
Rick Nardo. So Gibson is selling all of their own pickups now. Not sure what I think about that yet. Do you think that's going to cause a shift in the market? A big player like that can F the little, I don't know, the little
like
guy, the
screw
little
us up,
business.
yeah. I worried about it for a half a second. And I thought, okay, is this going to hurt me? And I'm like, no, it's not. Because we don't make the same stuff they make. I know the guy that's doing all their pickup development's a friend of mine. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about it. And I have no problem. Even how me and him look at pickups is different. Like, he sees things from the vintage Gibson way. And they have a way. And what I do is not that. That's why Dylan Talks Tone says Dylan Talks Tone, the new vintage. Because we do things differently here. And, yeah.
Rusty said, sorry, he's fighting with a Chihuahua and a 2-year-old.
That's awesome. That's all the gibberish?
Yeah.
So was it the Chihuahua or the 2-year-old typing all the gibberish? That's what I want to know.
Dan of New Jersey. I saw an interview with PRS. He said his humbucker has 6 tabs on it for switching. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it's dumb. Next.
2 more minutes. All right, Mihail Malev. Dylan, what do you think of a pickup with like 10 coil taps or something so it can go from like a P90 to various wine counts of single coil?
In theory, that sounds like a great idea. However, just because like the last question with the coil split PRS thing, what people don't realize is 1,000 wines doesn't make that much difference. It doesn't make as much difference as you think it would. It does make a difference. But if you put, if you had 5,000 wines on a regular PAF, for example, and you put a tap at 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you had 5 at the top, you wouldn't really be able to tell a difference as you flip through those things. Now, maybe at half and below, you probably could, but it would just get quieter. The tone would change a little bit, but the effect tonally that you think it has is not as drastic as you think it would be. And it wouldn't do what you wanted it to do because the coil dimension's just not there. The size of the coil, how wide it is, P90 for example, sounds a certain way because it's this wide and only this tall, so only 1/4 inch tall. It sounds that way for a reason. So then if you just make it smaller and make it smaller and make it smaller, it's just going to sound smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So it doesn't really do what you think it would do. That's a cool question, though, because a lot of people, that's one of those things a lot of people wonder. I almost should make those videos, like, just do it to show that it's dumb. Make some crazy pickup with a ton of wires on it and put it in the...
Listen to it.
Yeah. Maybe
that'd be cool.
That would be an interesting video.
I think you could get some attention.
It would be hard to do. But,
Okay.
yeah.
It's 9 o'clock.
Okay.
So, if you weren't here at first.
Yeah. So if you weren't here at first,
or last week,
we've gotten a lot of requests to do like an off-topic section. And there was a couple of ways we're going to do this. We're thinking about doing it on Patreon, but that doesn't sound, I don't want to do it like that. To do a whole nother live stream doesn't make sense. So we're just going to stay late. It's just going to be the after hours, no guitars allowed, off topic, ask us any kind of thing, anything, every Thursday. We're going to do this just for a few minutes. If it doesn't go well and nobody asks a cool question or we don't stop, people don't care, then we won't do it anymore. But I want to do it. Last week, somebody asked us about Bigfoot and what we think about Bigfoot, and they asked us if we think that Atlantis is real.
So how did we pick Atlantis? Or how did you? Because I don't think there was we. I don't know.
I don't know. I think people in the comments were like, yeah, what do you think of Atlantis?
I didn't know.
So do you think Atlantis is real? We should do Bigfoot first.
You said Atlantis. Why are we talking about two things?
Atlantis. Go ahead.
I mean, you could have had a different audience if they knew you were going to talk about two things.
That's true. And whatever else you want. We're going to do the same thing. Keep asking questions, but it just can't be about guitars. We're not even going to take them if they have guitar stuff in them. And we'll take super chats. We'll take the whole thing.
We're not even going to take them.
But this is off topic.
Prime Time Guitar ended at 9 o'clock.
That's right.
If you're still here, thank you.
Yeah.
But now we digress.
This is for everybody that we just want to be friends with you and hang out.
Only if you're cool, though.
Yeah, only if you're cool. So.
It's time for Dylan After Dark.
Ooh. No, it ain't. Anyway. Atlantis.
What do I think?
In the comments after last week.
Okay.
Let's just clarify that it's not in Georgia.
There was still, even tonight, there was a lot. Okay, so somebody said, wait, I saw Atlantis on the Jagged Little Pill tour. That was
Alanis Morissette.
And then even today, it was like, oh, let's find out if Atlanta is real. It's definitely real.
Yeah, we know Atlanta is real. We've been there.
Many
times.
Yeah.
It's only 2.5 hours from here. We go there a lot. Okay.
So. Oh, Charles Wallace is calling us out. He said Bigfoot, aliens, and Atlantis was supposed to be the topic this week.
Okay, well, we'll go in reverse order. We'll talk about Bigfoot as we go. I want to talk about Bigfoot. I really do. But I want to talk about this.
Another episode.
This Atlantis thing is interesting.
Is it?
Because.
Okay, the top question, right?
Right.
Is it real?
No.
I don't think so either.
No.
We did not talk about this, y'all.
No, it's not real.
Yeah.
It was a figure of speech, like a philosophical exercise.
Yeah.
Basically, right? Like to signify the rise and the fall of a civilization because of human behavior, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Right?
It was just literature.
It was just literature.
Yeah.
It's not a real place. But it did make me think about real places that do and did exist underwater. Mm-hmm. And I didn't do all the research on this. But
I mean, we have some of that here.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, okay.
We were just talking about this a couple weeks ago. The lake that we go to, when you see us on Instagram at the lake.
Or almost any Corps of Engineer lake.
Yes. Usually has a city buried underneath it. Mm-hmm. And we have, and the people have just gotten run out, right? We went to, and the one I think of most, and those of you that live up there will know this, Land Between the Lakes in Kentucky. I went to the liquor store to buy, every time we're traveling somewhere, I'll try to find something local, a beer or a liquor or something to bring home to just be like, oh, this is, it's not always a hit, but sometimes, hey, there's this cool thing that they only make here, can I buy something, try something like that? And I go in there, and that gal had most of her teeth, and she was not that old. And she was pissed still
Yes.
because her grandparents and her parents got run out of Land Between the Lakes. And we went up there, and there was like ruins of homes and grave plots and like full on civilizations that disappeared when they made those lakes. Crazy. And actually not even underwater, above ground, where they just ran the people out and made it into like a national preserve or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But where we live in Augusta, Georgia, the lake that we have here, there's full on cities that are underneath there's certain parts of the lake, and then Lake Lanier, I think, over by Atlanta. If it gets low enough, stuff will stick out, like, of the water. And then we also have, speaking of other crazy stuff, we also live 20 minutes or so from the Savannah River site, which in the real Cold War was a manufacturing site for plutonium for nuclear weapons. And when they built that site, they just commandeered all the land, and there was like a town called Ellenton, South Carolina. We have a town about 20 minutes from us called New Ellenton, South Carolina. They basically just took all those people and just moved them out of there because that became part of the Savannah River site. And they just dozed the whole thing. So if you go to any of the museums around here, there's like a whole bunch of like, this is what this town looked like before they just dozed it all and made it into the Savannah River site. So I'm not saying there isn't civilizations that have not disappeared, but Atlantis is not one of them. And neither is Atlanta or Alanis Morissette.
Mm-hmm. All right. We actually got a super chat.
Right on.
Doc Siltonen, thank you for the super chat. He says Atlantis is an allegory. The dangers of the human condition causing our own demise.
So in that respect,
wasn't it a Disney movie?
Is it real?
I, Robot. Is it
real? That means it is real. Whoa.
Don't get him going, y'all. Come on.
I love it.
All right.
Oh, man.
So, Curtis Chavez says, Under the Sea, Under the Sea. I hear that in Ariel's voice. Oh, no. Ariel doesn't sing that song. It's like Sebastian, right?
I don't know.
The little crab.
I didn't have kids in that decade.
I think that was my sister's decade, not my kids. There's still a lot of pickup talk. I don't know if they're like just watching. Yeah. Fuse 404 says YouTube has so many videos about haunted Lake Lanier. Hilarious.
Oh, dude, there's tons of stuff.
Yeah. Top Load Telly. Lake Mead is revealing some crazy stuff as it dries up.
Yes, it's true. Yeah. I'll tell you what, there's also some really spooky stuff about that land. You should Google Land Between the Lakes on YouTube too. There's some crazy stuff on there because when we were staying there, and it's like spooky and it's like dark and like so dark and so black outside, like nothing, no lights, and I'm like YouTubing all this spooky stuff about where we are and these people that disappeared and these places that disappeared and all this stuff. It was kind of funny. I don't usually get it all weird like that, but it was like, it's really dark here. This is weird. It's a cool place though.
Oof, holy moly, there's a lot of comments. But super chat takes precedence. Thank you for the super chat, Thomas Torville. He says, Dylan, do you still fly drones? If so, I have 2 new DJIs I'll send you.
Yes, I fly drones. I love drones. I love them. I have I have a DJI Air 2S right now. My Air 2, I crashed it and I got the Air 2S. And then I sent the Air 2 to DJI, they rebuilt it, and I sold it to my brother.
Yep.
Thank you, Thomas,
Drone
for the super chat.
photography is cool.
Yeah, I like photography with it. That's what I use it for. Mostly for stills more than video, actually.
All right, so do we need to You want to go through some of those comments people are saying?
Yeah.
That way it'll incite more conversation.
Heck yeah.
You want to stick to Atlantis first and then digress?
Whatever you want. Let's just go. This is fun.
Okay. Doc Stiltonen says, apparently Atlantis was off the coast of Spain near Cadiz. I'm thinking road trip to investigate. I can't drive there from here, but I'm always up for a road trip.
Makes sense to me.
Paul McNary, Atlantis is real and still exists. They just have developed cloaking, and when their citizens interact with the rest of the world, they are so well trained not to give away any secrets.
Oh, I love it. I can see Paul McNary saying that. We've met Paul McNary, and we've actually met Doc Siltonen too, and I could definitely see Paul saying that. That's hilarious.
Sorry, this is not Atlantis. Angel Raven 444 just said, "Oh, he retracted his message. I guess I shouldn't read it then." Okay. Just kidding. Oh well. I liked it too. Oh well. All right. That was funny, Paul. I don't know if you meant it to be funny. I could see you're one he's hard to read. I can see him saying it.
Yeah, I can see him saying it.
And he's hard to read.
Yeah.
Are you messing with me right now? Or are you for real?
I think if Paul's saying it, he's messing with you. For sure.
Maybe.
Yeah,
BC
awesome.
Rich 581, Atlantis is next to the Bellagio on the Strip in Vegas.
That's true.
Let's see. BC Rich 581 also said, so there was a Minoan settlement in the Aegean that was destroyed by volcanic eruption that many believe is the source of the Atlantis legend.
Yes.
Keyword there being legend.
Legend.
Ed DePriest says Randall Carlson has a good theory that Atlantis was in the Azores. Any thoughts?
So, yeah, Randall Carlson. He has a lot of interesting theories about the history of human civilization in general. And I have listened to and heard him on podcasts. I've not read anything. And I don't know enough to speak on it to even have an opinion. But he seems a little too philosopher-y to me. And I'm a little more analytical, science-y side. And so he kind of loses me a little bit. Not that I can't follow him, but I don't know. I don't want to say anything.
I can still see the comment here, but it shows retracted on here, so I'm still going to read it.
Do it.
It's not related. I'm going to try to catch all the Atlantis ones first. We might have gotten them all, though. Lefty J says Atlantis is the missing piece of the Straits of Gibraltar.
I've heard that too.
Have proof. So somebody has proof. I don't know if he said he has proofs. Anyway. Mark Hott, Atlantis is real. It is on display at the JFK Space Center in Florida.
Space shuttle. Is that the one that the Toyota Tundra pulled? I think it is. That might be Discovery. Anyway.
Rick Nardo, Atlantis is the city on top of the hill, a place that the lower class think is the best. It became a metaphor for the rich will fall in times of chaos. Then Plato had to flee after Socrates' execution.
Yeah, see, and that's the other thing, too, is even the allegory, as Don would classify it, changes over time and what it is supposed to represent, which is really interesting. People didn't know I was this philosophical. They just thought all I knew about was capacitors and crap.
All right. Angel Raven 444. This is the comment that
Go for it.
Was retracted, but I could still see it, and it made me laugh, and I'm going to read it. If you love drones so much, why don't you wear dark glasses like Neistat?
I do. I do wear dark glasses like Casey Neistat. I have the same glasses he has, actually, except I don't put...
He could totally scratch them and paint them up. And
I know, I could if I wanted to.
But that'd be weird.
Yeah, it would be weird.
Ira Tiger Bomb. According to Cryon, there were more than one Atlantis.
Yeah, I've heard that too. All
Chuck
right.
C says Bigfoot is just John Petrucci out for a walk.
Yeah.
Fuse 404, I practically grew up on Lanier. It's definitely not haunted, but the stumps will rip your motor off if it's low.
That's real. That's the way it is around here too. You got to be really careful depending on if the lake is low.
Charles Wallace says, I just have to read this because he used a word that I like. Charles Wallace says, yes, I have an aunt that lives in a holler that I am surprised they have not made her move and flood it.
Yep.
She lives in a holler.
Yep.
I'm not picking on you, Charles. I miss those old words that nobody uses anymore.
Yep.
Van Chant Guitar says, when they built the Saunders Dam on the St. Lawrence, a lot of low-lying areas on the north bank was submerged. Many homes were moved further inland.
So here's a little fact. My family is from Sugar Island on the St. Lawrence River. Just in between Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Van Shank will know where this is. Don Siltonen will know where this is. That's where my family's from. My family, the reason I have a Scottish last, I'm Native American, but the reason I have a Scottish last name is because they were whalers that came over. He was actually an earl in Scotland who gave up his everything in Scotland to come to Sugar Island to be whalers for the French whatever company, and then ended up not doing it and had a bunch of kids.
Paul Williams says, if you were a Pop-Tart, what flavor would you be?
Oh, brown sugar.
That was creepy when you said it, though. Why was it creepy? All right. Moving on.
I can't believe I even thought of it that fast. I'm proud of myself for that. That was hilarious. Sorry.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh my god, that was funny.
Who knew that would totally derail the conversation? All right.
Oh my god.
Top Load Telly says, what about the Incas? A whole civilization just disappeared.
I want to go explore that so bad. That's something I've been to Latin America a lot, and I really would like to explore that a lot, but I've never gotten to do that.
I think Doc Silton is trying to be related to you. He said, hey, my great-grandmother was from Sugar Island.
We've talked about this.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, we've talked about, but he's Finnish.
Oh.
Siltonen.
I don't know. Oh.
He's not really Finnish, though, because he doesn't drive a Formula One car or a rally car.
But I bet he would.
I bet he would if they let him, though. Yep.
Rick Nardo says, I love Jeeps and need a new Jeep. What do you drive? How do you like it? Talk about Jeeps.
So our last car, before the one we have now, was a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon Recon Edition that we towed behind our motorhome when we lived in our motorhome. And we were just discussing this yesterday. We currently have a Honda Accord Hybrid because it was basically the only car at a dealership
when we needed a car.
We came off the road full time, needed something to drive, and I bought a Honda Accord Hybrid, and I really like it. It's a cool car, but we were talking about yesterday buying another SUV, and I really am considering the 4xe Cherokee. I want another hybrid. I really like having electric power on tap because it's really fun. It's really fun. Lots of torque. Super fun. I'm not super hippie about it or anything. I just like how it feels. So I'm kind of thinking about that. Although, yeah, I don't know. We want something that goes in the dirt again. That's kind of the van, because we have a Ram ProMaster van with it's a motorhome thing, and we have a Honda Accord Hybrid, and we can't go in the dirt with either of them. And for example, that whole Land Between the Lakes thing, we had the Wrangler Rubicon, and we could just go wherever we wanted, and we kind of missed doing that. So we might go back to a Jeep, but it won't be a Wrangler it'll be a real car that we can.
I did miss Doc Siltonen said, "Are you familiar with the story of the Newberry tablets?" Pretty cool story.
Yes, I am.
You are? I'm not.
Yes.
Cool.
I don't remember anything about it, but I have heard it.
Oh.
I know what he's talking about.
Let's see. Revel Rouser said, "Do you guys do Halloween? What were your favorite costumes when you were kids?"
We don't.
No.
No, we're not really Halloween people.
Ira Tiger Bomb says, "Is the moon hollow?"
No. I don't have any evidence for that, though. I just assume that to be true. I do know we landed on it, though, so don't even start with me on that crap.
Ira Tiger Mom also wants to know, what do you think of Teslas?
We almost bought one. But when we got the Honda, that was like actually literally between those two cars. We are not ready for all electric. Because we don't have the infrastructure. We don't own a home right now. We're kind of focused more on the business than we are on having a house. So I don't have the way to charge it, and I don't want to go to the Steak and Shake where they have the chargers in town and sit there for 45 minutes every time I need something. And we travel too much. We're going to Nashville next month, and we're going to take the car. And I just don't want to plug into anything. They're cool, though.
Mark Hott wants to know, would you create a TikTok page and put a clip of your content on it?
I had a TikTok. I have concerns about security with TikTok, so I do not use it.
It's not really a guitar question, so I'm going to ask it.
Okay.
David Cornblatt said, "Are you going to meet with Phil McKnight?"
I'd like to. We just are on opposite ends of the continent, and we have no current plans to go to that end of the continent at this moment. But I would like to.
All right. Well, we have to be torn here because it's super chat.
Okay.
But it is a guitar question.
Okay. That's fine.
Brian F., thank you for the super chat. Trying to figure out if I'm insane because I bought a Squier Jaguar last year and replaced the pickups with EMGs 81, 85. All the switches, etc. still work.
That is pretty insane, but it is also cool, and I've never heard of it, so that's pretty cool. Thank you for the super chat, Brian.
That. Way to squeeze in your guitar question. That was very sneaky of you. Right? Let's see.
Now we have 3 thumbs down because people are like, I don't like this non-guitar.
It was before.
Oh, okay.
It was before. It was definitely guitar related. Fat Philosopher said, "There is the lost continent of Mu in the Pacific Ocean. You can see its ruminants off the coast of Okinawa."
Yep, I've heard of that too. I don't sleep well, and when I don't sleep, I watch documentaries. Weird ones on YouTube, and like more legit ones and weird ones on like Netflix and Amazon Prime and all of whatever. So I know about some pretty random stuff. Very curious person.
Larry Lane wants to know, do you back into parking spaces?
Oh yeah. It depends. The van, I always like to head out of a parking space with the van because it's 21 feet long. So if I can't pull through a parking space, I will back into it. With the car, I don't care as much with the car. However, parking space stuff, I do park in a place where I can get to one side so that I'm out of the door ding zone. Because I don't like door dings.
Solaris 70. Something else. I don't know. We're just going to go with Solaris 70, the first part of their name. What is your favorite album of all time?
Oh, it's easy. DJ Shadow. Introducing. 1996.
Doc Siltonen, what about a Chevy Colorado ZR2? The new one has 425 horsepower.
So we were talking about this yesterday, and I think we don't want a truck. I think we want an SUV because we have a Dometic refrigerator cooler thing that always lived in the Jeep, and before that we had a Golf wagon that it lived in. It doesn't fit in our Honda. For like doing road trips where we don't take the van. So our whole driving thing is around enjoying the drive, like, and traveling. So if we can't long distance travel with it the way we want, then we probably won't get it. And having a fridge, having temperature control for guitars, that's another reason why a truck is out. And having security for camera gear and stuff is the other reason why a truck is out.
Mm-hmm. Gary English says, watching you guys, convalescing from a hip replacement surgery, which is taking me off my dirt bike for the first time since I can remember. I was just curious about your dirt biking background, Dylan.
Yeah. So all through the 2000s, I designed dirt bike parts with a company in Arizona. We worked with other companies. We built stuff. We had a couple of race teams. We had an effort in the Bonneville Salt Flats, set 2 world records. That's where the Bonneville pickups come from, that name. And a lot of my other stuff. That's why a lot of my other stuff is named after engines and stuff. And then we also worked with Baja off-road racing stuff. One of my good friends was Steve Hengefeld. He's won the Baja 1000 7 times. And he's really, really fast. So, go to Mexico. I broke my collarbone in Mexico one time. So that's what we did. And we did carburation and airflow, got into fuel injection, obviously, suspension stuff, computational fluid dynamics in suspensions and cylinder heads. Be the air. That's what that was like our motto at work, like being the air, going through the airbox, through the cylinder head, and out the exhaust. It's just looking at the engine as an air pump and understanding how that all works. And so that's what we did. Yeah, it was really fun. I really, really enjoyed it. And then in 2007, I crashed really hard and got hurt. It broke my back in 4 places. 4 vertebrae, 3 ribs, shoulder blade, all in one shot. Almost died. Gave me a 3% chance to walk. I should be right now paralyzed from the neck down. They told me if I had 3 more degrees of deviation in my spine that I'd be paralyzed from the neck down. And but the Barrow Neurological Institute in Phoenix, Arizona put me back together. The guy that did it is now the head of neurology at Johns Hopkins. He was like one of the best people in the world. Put me back together, and so I can walk. But I hurt every day, and it's a struggle. Right now, like as I'm sitting here talking to you, it hurts all the time. But it's what we do. So, and I love it. I still love motorcycles. I love them more than anything. More than any physical thing in the world, motorcycle is at the top of my list for everything. That helmet right there is the one I got hurt in. That's why it lives on the desk, because it saved my life. And yeah, that's it.
Tuck Stilton said VW Tiguan or Atlas.
No, both garbage. Never. Nope.
Clint Jones says y'all need a Toyota Land Cruiser.
So the serious conversation ended up yesterday. We were talking about what were we going to get next. I have a feeling that the Toyota 4Runner is at the end of its life, because they're going to go on to the 7th or 8th generation or whatever it's at. Because we had a 2016 4Runner and it was amazeballs. We love that car. And I think when they go on to the next one, it's going to get a hybrid system that's like a dumbed down version of what's in the Tundra now. And if they do that, I want that. That's what I want next. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I'd rather have that over a Jeep.
Rick Bonneville says, well, Van Shank, guess I'm out of favor. I'm not in the club anymore. No mention from me. I don't know what you said, Rick. So.
I don't know what he said either.
I apparently missed it, but it's not because you've
I think he's bummed out because
favor.
I didn't name my... He made a comment last week, and he was like, I should feel hurt that you didn't name your pickups after me because his name is Bonneville. Right. And I was like, no, it's not. It's after the...
I just lost my place. Fuse 404. Speaking of racing, lots of F1 races coming to the U.S. Will you try to go to any?
We are looking at that. So the problem is that we also have a lot of other guitar-related engagements, and I'm trying to get the schedule worked out properly. And we're far from a lot of them. So it's Vegas. I don't know if they're having one in Miami again. I can't remember. But Vegas and Texas are both on the other end of the continent from us again. And so it's a difficult thing. We're trying to figure it out. I really want to go because I've never been to a Formula One race. I've been to MotoGP races, which are amazing, but I've never been to a Formula One race. So I'm pretty sure my new Max Verstappen hat is going to be here tomorrow or Monday.
I didn't know you ordered a hat.
Yeah, I got the championship one because he just won it.
Robbie Dog says, I thought this was about guitar pickups. Well, we've been going since 8 o'clock. So from 8 to 9, it was.
It was.
And
you can watch the replay.
We digressed after 9 due to popular demand.
Yep.
Welcome.
And I feel like it's still, what do we got here? We got 80 people, so people aren't super bored with it. It's awesome.
I don't even know what that question is. Martian Murray says fold or crinkle. What does that mean?
Fold or crinkle?
Uh-huh.
Fold. No
like
matter
what
it
like
is.
Paper, napkins? What are we talking about?
Any of it.
Oh.
Fold.
Why would you crinkle?
I don't know, unless you're a maniac.
Are you a maniac?
Fold. Because then it's more usable. It's more even. And it's,
More
fold.
even? What if you didn't fold it symmetrically?
Okay, if you fold a paper towel, then you have the same absorbency all across the thing. If you crinkle it, you have a different absorbency on the edge where it's not as crinkled as you do in the middle.
Is this your scientific
I'm just saying, if you crinkle it up, it's not as effective.
If we're talking about paper towels, you just buy Bounty and then it's just one sweep. Like
One
the
swipe.
commercial.
Toilet paper?
The quicker picker-upper.
Crinkle or fold toilet paper.
Crinkle.
Next.
I don't have time to fold. That's dumb.
I love it. That's so funny.
Uh-oh. Marcia Murray said, good, y'all ain't heathens. And then I just ended with that. So we'll see what Marcia Murray thinks about that.
Fold or crinkle. That's a great question.
Jonathan Solares, what's your NFL team? Dylan and Leslie. Leslie doesn't have one.
Phoenix Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals.
Rebel Rouser. Dylan, are you familiar with the Isle of Man TT races? Any thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. Isle of Man is legendary. That race is amazing. People die on it all the time, but it's amazing. And not only for the motorcycle racing, but Isle of Man is home to my favorite cycle racer, which is Mark Cavendish.
Marcia Murray said you married a heathen.
Well, that's probably true.
Solaris70 said, do the birds sing a lot there? I noticed they sing everywhere I've been. Have you not watched the video lately?
Yeah, that video on Monday, they were so loud.
Singing.
They were so loud. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to wait for them to stop. Oh,
Charles Wallace said you're too OCD.
I mean, it's all about effectiveness for me. I just have to be effective. I don't want to be wasting no time. Like, I know people that will like reuse paper towels.
I'm very wasteful.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Paul, Mark Hott, have you been to Daytona 500 and Indy 500 or a NASCAR race in Georgia Motor Speedway?
No, we've been to Darlington for the
No.
throwback race.
Yep.
I have toured Indianapolis. I was supposed to have trackside motorhome center field tickets to Indianapolis 500 the year COVID started.
Wait,
and everything
can
got
we
canceled.
can we take that offer up and do van parking?
We might be able to.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I know some other people we want to. Daniel Leonov said, didn't know people crinkle toilet paper instead of folding. WTF. I mean, I'm not saying that's what everybody does. I don't know what people do either, but I don't know that I want to know.
This is great stuff.
Paul Williams said, if you had 3 wishes from a genie, what would they be?
More wishes.
You can't. That's the one rule. You can't ask for more wishes when you get 3 wishes.
I don't know, okay. The wishes thing is a funny thing to me because that sort of falls into like the regrets thing. Like if you could do it over again, what would you do different? And my answer is nothing because I wouldn't be right here right now, and I love it right here right now. And I don't know. Anytime you watch any of the movies, the whole thing is the genie thing is all about screwing up something because the wish caused some other chain reaction of thing to happen. And so I don't really care about that because I like it right here, right now.
So Marsha Murray, step ahead after you married a heathen, had to tell me that his ex was a crinkler.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, all right.
Super chat.
Super chats. I think they're guitar.
Okay.
Bill Mark. Thank you for the super chat, Bill. Would the 8-ball and center punch, I have a set already, be an improvement for my new Epiphone / Les Paul?
Yes.
These folks are so late. Yeah, they are a little late.
Thanks for the super chat.
We're still on, so they're like, oh, they're live. Let's do
I
this.
appreciate it. It's fine.
Luke. I got ahead of my own self. Luke H. Thank you for the super chat. I got a used Friedman vintage tee. I'm indifferent to relic jobs, but it sure helps take the fear out of scratching up such a pricey guitar. Any experience with Friedman guitars?
Yeah, they're neat. They're really neat guitars. I would have one. They're very cool. Yep.
The saga continues here.
Are we talking about crinkle versus not crinkle?
For sure.
Oh
Curtis Chavez says, crinkling toilet paper is too random. The chances of accidentally wiping with the wrong part of the toilet paper.
Exactly.
Jason Albert, typically women crinkle toilet paper as where men fold. Yes, I watched a documentary.
Oh my God.
That is awesome. Tim Ziegler says, do you own a Microtech knife?
We both do. I just bought Leslie a Microtech UTX 70 this last weekend because I have a Microtech UTX 85 up there, a green one. And she was like, I want a purple knife. So we went to the Smoky Mountain Knife Works in Sevierville, Tennessee. It's the biggest knife store in the world. And we went in there and I was like, she's like, she already has a little, I think it's the Pelican or something. It's the little Spyderco on her desk in there. And I was like, I want to get you a purple knife, something that you'll carry in your purse more and then you can leave that one at home because it's so tiny. So we go in there and I'm like, I know at the Smoky Mountain Knife Works that they have these purple Benchmade bug outs with black blades. I'll get you one of those. Those are really cool. Well, come to find out, they're not stock colors. They're actually paint the handles. And I was like, I don't like that. So I was like, well, let's just go get you the UTX. The Microtech place was right across the thing. So let's go get you a Microtech UTX. So we got our UTX 70 with a black blade in purple. You can see it on my Instagram. It's really sick. And then I bought this. So this is my new hotness. This is a ProTech Godfather automatic out the side with a rose gold blade. It's really, really cool.
Not coming into focus.
Yeah, and you can't really tell in this light, but it's rose gold. It's really, really cool. So anyway, yeah, those are the new knives of the day.
Doc Siltonen said sidecar racing out of the Isle of Man is even crazier.
Oh, I can't. Those guys are crazy.
Isle of Man is home of one of the best bass players on the planet, Mark King of level 42.
Oh, interesting.
Rick Bonneville. Dylan, do you like the Paris to Dakar rally?
Absolutely. I follow that almost every year. Yep.
Fat Philosopher says Greek philosophers versus German philosophers.
I don't really know that I care because I don't use them for any kind of thing that I go back to or what, you know what I mean? I feel like Greek philosophers are super fluffy with everything and like everything is okay. German philosophers seem to have gotten referenced by people that I don't like later on in history, so I don't really have anything to say.
Clint Jones, you should check out the Petite Le Mans at Road Atlanta. Also, AMA MotoGP at Road Atlanta is crazy.
We have looked into both of those things. Yep.
Top Load Telly, every car person should attend at least one Indy 500. I went in the mid-90s when there were over 400,000 people at the track. The number of people was scary.
If I could get my motorhome, just letting everybody know, if you know a guy who knows a guy, it would be really cool to do this again. If I could get my motorhome in the center field and stay, then I would do it. I don't like going to stuff where I've got to sit in line in traffic for hours and hours and hours to get in and out. But now that we have a motorhome, I would put it in the middle and just stay there. That's, you wouldn't sleep because everybody's partying, but it'd be fun.
Rusty Fenders, taco or burrito?
If I'm sitting down at a Mexican restaurant or somewhere that I'm actually enjoying it, I would like to have a taco.
You never get tacos.
But I would in the taco environment. But for convenience purposes, most of the time I get a burrito. I would, yeah.
John Own 11 can't play any Roddy own any original grain watches.
No.
Rusty Fenders, favorite soup?
Potato. We haven't made that in a while. It's getting cold. We should make that again.
Let's see.
Or tomato, and by tomato I mean Bloody Mary. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll know what I'm talking about. Oh man.
Let's see. Okay, I don't.
That's about it. We caught up, huh?
Yeah.
Which is cool because it's 10% power on my watch. It is 9:45.
I mean, it was like in sleepy mode or something.
You guys, this was really fun. Do me a favor and comment on this video if you want to have a wacky subject for next week. I like doing this where we stay on a little bit later and just hang out with y'all. Some people are going to think it's stupid because it's not guitar related and this is a guitar channel. But part of this, I was thinking about it. Matt was actually talking about it tonight. Like the kind of customers that they want versus the kind of customers that they don't want. And he was like, the kind of customers we want are the ones that we would actually be friends with, that we would actually like. This is all about, I don't know. It's not just, we don't just sell parts.
We have to answer this.
What?
Angel Raven 444 says, is your motorhome staying at Leslie's ultra rich parents' compound?
Ah! That's hilarious.
First of all, if anybody in my family was ultra rich, I would not work. Just
Amen-
putting that out
amen to
there
that. Amen to
because
that.
I would love to be independently wealthy.
Yeah, if there's any of you out there that are related to us and have not told us
Yes.
yet and are rich, please let us know.
Or you need some like children or grandchildren.
Yes.
We're willing to be adopted.
Yes, if you are rich and you're old and you're about to die, and you don't have any grandkids, we can sign on for
I'll
that.
even visit.
Yeah, we will visit you on the major weekends of the year and everything until you're gone, if you sign us into your will.
Okay, but seriously, our motorhome fits in a parking spot, and it's right outside the door.
Yeah, it's right outside the door.
And my parents are not ultra rich, and they do not live on a compound.
It's so funny.
Just to clarify. So Charles Wallace says, "What about Bigfoot and aliens? Should that be next week?
Yeah, I guess we'll cover
Can
Bigfoot.
we lump them together?
We can lump Bigfoot and aliens together because I have a lot to say about both of those things.
A lot to say.
Yeah, those are interesting ones. Oh, now we have a super chat.
Now we have a super chat. You can't leave.
I just saw it pop up on your phone.
We got a super chat from Ira Tiger Bomb. Thank you for the super chat. And I don't see a question.
Well,
so maybe we have to pause for a moment.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody hanging out. This is really fun. I understand that everybody wants to hear about guitar stuff all the time, but this is a cool little addition that I really enjoy doing with you guys.
They said, thanks, guys. You rock. Thank you, Ira.
So thanks. And thanks for just laughing and hanging out and talking
Hopefully
about
you were
whatever.
laughing.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, or laughing at us or with us, or I don't even care. It was really fun. So you guys are awesome. And we will see you on Monday. And I'm going to do some kind of how I think about guitar tone when I build a pickup video. Because I have this guitar and we can use it.
Cool. Thanks, y'all.
We'll see you later.